I'm Jen Schrader, and this is Behind the Springs, conversations with the people working for you in Colorado Springs, Olympic City, USA. Hello, everyone. There is a new public safety program in town, and I'm really excited to learn more about it along with you today. Thanks for taking the time to listen today as I welcome my guest, Lieutenant Brian Cummings. He's here to tell us about Together COS. Brian, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. So this is encouraging a partnership between the Colorado Springs Police Department and the community, you, to help improve public safety in our city. And there's going to be a lot of things that you can do to really help when it comes to this program. It makes you feel empowered, I think. And it's a way that our police can really do a lot more with what they already have. We've spent some time on the podcast, Lieutenant, with Mayor's been in here and some other guests have been in here, Chief Vasquez, talking about how we're trying to get to full strength. And I know you have these constant academies going on and you're getting all these new officers trained and everything, but that does take time. And so we want to make things as efficient as possible, right, with the folks you have.
Correct.
That you already have. And this is one of those programs. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your role with the department and how did you get involved with this program we're about to talk about?
Yeah. I'm going on my 23rd year here at Colorado Springs Police Department.
Not a newbie. Not a newbie. Almost 26 years of law enforcement combined. That's awesome.
With all my experience. And only 8 months in the Metro Division with the Strategic Operations Section that oversees the Real-Time Crime Center. And what really got me involved in the Real-Time Crime Center is I was a lieutenant over the Violent Crime Section, and I came to visit the Real-Time Crime Center to see for myself. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, this could really make an impact with policing. We can really use this technology to make policing more efficient, make it more safe for officers, make it more safe for our community, and we can really get community involvement to help us and really work in partnership, which is part of our department mission.
So the program overall is called Together COS, but you're talking about a real-time crime center. So this is an actual place, right? A location, and a place where officers are working consistently to improve safety. But how? Tell us what that program involves and what's happening at that center.
So it's a center, and we have detectives and supervisors and one crime analyst. And what happens is we use the information that's provided from our call takers on our dispatch side, and we look into calls and we really build these calls for officers. And so there's any given day, there's tens, dozens, hundreds of calls in the queue. So the Real-Time Crime Center looks in those calls for service that are either pending or being dispatched, and they really build those calls for service up by providing information to officers either in real time or providing information on the call screen that will help officers with their investigation or their initial response. In partnership with the community is they really rely a lot on cameras that we either have access through the city or our partners in the community have shared the access to their cameras with us. So we can tap into those cameras real time and provide information to officers. And that's one part of the program of Together COS. The other one is, you and I probably, if we have cameras on our house, it's probably not the most, integrated camera system. But for us to know that you might have a camera system or I might have a camera system and that, Brian Cummings at 123 Main Street lives here, we have that information that we can get into right away, send a request to look at your cameras of something that your cameras may have captured. They may help us with our investigation.
But the trick is you don't just have access to that. The people have to sign up.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So we don't have access to, our citizens' cameras. What happens is Joe Smith, who lives at, 124 Main Street, he sees, hey, I want to be part of this Together COS, goes onto the website, registers his cameras, which provides his name, some contact information. So if officers go into 124 Main Street or the area and think, hey, maybe we can use the citizens' cameras to help us with our investigation, then they can contact Joe Smith and request to look at the cameras from this time to this time, or whenever they may have captured any information.
Okay, so it's really on a volunteer basis. So, I mean, you're looking for residents to say, sure, go ahead and here's my contact information so that in that event, I'm ready to help.
100% volunteer.
And
Yep.
how helpful is it?
It is very helpful. I'm going to share information on a recent call for service that we had, and it was a pretty major call for service. And Real-Time Crime Center was involved, and one of the biggest aspects of us breaking this case was the citizens sharing their camera footage with us after the fact. And
this is just home residential.
This is home residential cameras.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing fancy, right? You don't have to change your camera or have some really amazing system. It's just what's already in use.
Correct. And all we're asking people to do is go on and register their cameras.
Okay. And that doesn't mean you take over their cameras. I know people get nervous about that. That means that you would request if you need some.
Correct.
Yes.
We would make a request. There's no way for us to take over anybody's cameras. Many times it's after the fact where, hey, we think something happened in your neighborhood. Would you mind? And there's no requirement for you to share. Even though you may have footage, there's no requirement for you to share.
Right. Okay. And so far, so good. Have you had some good interest in this program and people signing up?
We have.
Yes.
We
Obviously,
have.
it's already helping cases.
Yes, it does help cases. And then we've had some businesses that have integrated their cameras. So we do have direct access. There are some costs that's associated that the business have to incur. But we've had a lot of success with that.
So business owners can go on and find out more about that, what level they'd like to get involved.
They can under the Together COS.
That's really helpful for our local businesses too.
Absolutely.
I mean, you need their partnership as well.
Yes.
Right.
So then another aspect of Real-Time Crime Center is that we have, in all the schools in our community, we have the floor plans that we can give that information to officers who may be responding to schools. So there's a big safety aspect, our public safety aspect to that, whether it's officers, could be firefighters, ambulance, anybody that contacts a Real-Time Crime Center, we can walk people up directly to wherever they need to go.
Do other cities have this type of program? Are we one of the first folks trying this, or is this something that's happening around the country? It just seems so smart to me that I would think other cities are probably doing the same.
I'd love to say that we came up with this idea when we were the first in the country,
We're not the very first.
But we're not the first.
Yes.
What we did is the Real-Time Crime Center has been around for about a year.
Okay.
And it really has developed very quickly to the point where we now have day shift and soon in 2025 swing shift coverage of the Real-Time Crime Center. But we really took an idea that other agencies were using and really have just propelled that. And it's been a very quick evolution of the Real-Time Crime Center. There are other cities in Colorado that are doing this, but I would say that we've really hit the ground running and really have propelled to make this a very successful program. And in addition to the Real-Time Crime Center, another program that we have within that is a Drones as First Responder. So,
yes, tell people about that, because some people don't know that you're using drones at all.
So we've been using drones in the Colorado Springs Police Department. We've had 4 patrol drones that will go help. They'll drive to a location of a call for service. They'll launch your drone and they'll provide some insight to officers or maybe some support. But this program is a little bit different. This program, through our Real-Time Crime Center, we watch as calls come in, and then we will launch a drone from a location, which has been the Police Operations Center. And the drone will fly directly to the call for service and provide immediate overwatch for officers, providing officer safety and providing information for us. And
Is that
then,
most beneficial in like a larger event, or what? Or really any event?
We're using it for a lot of the calls,
Okay.
So in the downtown area, there's a lot of trespassing calls for service. So able to leverage technology to be more efficient and use our resources, smarter, we can launch that drone to a location and assess, hey, is it still a trespassing? Did the person leave? This is the person who's walking away. We can take a picture of that, send that to responding officers. Or we can say, pick up the phone, call the person that called and say, hey, is this trespassing still in progress? Do you want to continue with this call for service? Do you want to cancel it? And so far,
Efficiency.
24% of the calls for service that our drones have gone on, we've been able to cancel those calls by drone, handled by drone.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It is.
So frees up your officers.
Frees up officers for higher priority calls, frees up officers from doing some additional follow-up.
And paperwork
because
and your citizen time also.
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, the callers sometimes don't have a chance to call back and say, it's over, we don't need you anymore, what have you.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so that goes to the call queue that I've talked about, at the very beginning, is that there's so many calls. So if we can help clear out those calls and still provide excellent police services, then we could do that. If a person's like, I still want a police report, I still want officers to come, then by all means, that call is going to stay in the queue.
Right.
But if it's a lower call where a person doesn't want that officer to respond, then that's a benefit. Another benefit that we've had is, you have an accident at rush hour on Friday night on I-25. Being able to provide insight to responding officers, both fire department, ambulance, and then additional our officers, we can provide that overwatch and say, hey, maybe we can open up some lanes of traffic, or maybe we can divert traffic onto Nevada Avenue instead of having everybody go northbound on I-25. So it's an efficiency, and it is a tool for all of us.
Because you're getting that bird's eye view.
We are.
So you're able to really change the way you tackle different calls.
And we can get there fairly quickly.
Yes.
I mean, we know that there's traffic issues in certain parts of the city, especially, you talk about a rush hour.
Rush hour.
We can launch a drone. The drone right now, in certain parts of the town, we can fly at 400 feet. And so at 400 feet, flying close to 40 miles an hour, we can get there fairly quick.
Yes, that's amazing. What fun technology. Really exciting technology.
It's exciting. It provides information that we probably wouldn't have. Another example is, transient on transient crime.
Yes.
Sometimes we can get there and see this for our own eyes, what's going on. And even though people may go different ways, there may have been a serious crime committed where we can now capture that on drone footage.
Right. Amazing. So this all falls under that
It's all under the Real-Time Crime Center. So it's about getting as much information as we can to help our responding officers and public safety, even our fire.
That helps in their efficiency. I would also assume it helps keep them safe.
It does.
Right? In many instances, helps keep them as safe as possible.
And it's not just the police department. We've flown on many fires and provided some overwatch for the fire department, who has access to our drone footage, and then they can come up with a strategy on how they want to tackle that fire.
Yeah, that's great partnership.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, this is exciting. What's your hope for the future?
My hope is to expand. The drones really can, we can go, the sky's the limit, no pun intended. But if we can make it so we're flying drones in all 4 of our patrol divisions and providing that support, I think that we can help, solve crime. I think we can identify crime. I think we can identify other issues that need to be taken care of. We can put drones in our crime hotspots. And the great thing about this is we can capture repeat offenders in the act of committing crimes and help with the prosecution, so they're no longer, plaguing our community.
Right. So they're not reoffending over and over. And I think, when people talk about fix crime, figure out what to do about crime, this is it. This is some of the great tactics that our police department is using. So hopefully people are listening, because this is really exciting news.
Yes.
So I want to promote, the website is togethercos.org.
Correct.
And so you can just go on there, register your camera. It just takes a couple minutes.
It does.
It's quick.
It's quick. Right.
And it makes a huge difference in many cases.
And I'm hoping that, the more public we go with this, the more cameras we can get. And that just helps officers, even if it's not when the Real-Time Crime Center is working, the officers can go on our FUSIS dashboard and they can contact a citizen. Or maybe if it's after hours.
Like during the investigation as it progresses.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Correct. Last thing we want to do is wake somebody up at 3 a.m. to say, hey, do you have camera footage?
Right.
But that may be something that the Real-Time Crime Center can do after the fact during working hours and still help progress that investigation that patrol is doing.
Or like in this case you just gave me, confirm what you all suspected. You know, you suspected that it was going to go a certain way, and then that gives you the evidence.
Yes, it helps us gather that evidence for a good prosecution.
And it's really one of those things where you can't do it alone. Right? I mean, it has to be one of those things where everybody's working together.
It is a team effort.
You can't be everywhere. This is a big city.
Correct.
We're so spread out.
This helps us be everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Your eyes everywhere. Eyes in the sky. Eyes everywhere. It's good. Good news. Well, thanks for all the work you're doing.
Absolutely.
And that your team is doing. It's really promising.
And we all enjoy serving. So
yes. Well, thanks so much. And thank you all for listening. So again, togethercos.org. Go on there, check it out, whether you're a business owner, just a resident, or just want to know more about the program. It's a great place to start. So thanks for listening to Behind the Springs.